I don't know if this is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, but I'm going to do it anyway due to how it got public. And technically, I started it, so I want to finish it. And there is no cards. I usually do during the day, almost every day, which is walk to my family, who is one of the most important things to me, even if sometimes it hasn't been shown publicly or not, and that is a perspective that I want to change. This is one of the things that I've been doing lately, is to give perspective differently to others, and this is something I do with the troops too, so you get to see a little bit of insight to me and the amount of work I've done. So this is going to be an unedited, raw, hopefully something that starts daily, who knows. So stick around, and here we go. Oh, I forgot, no editing. Well, I made a post on Facebook, and it got public and got ugly real quick. So I didn't see what other people posted. I only saw one response out of the 8 or 10 comments, and I since deleted the post because I haven't been on it. Today was the first day that I came back to Facebook after I deleted it off my phone, and it was like a week or so ago, and I deleted it. And there are a couple of things that I want to say, unfiltered, raw emotion, thoughts, whatnot, because I don't think my family, the ones that I'm talking about or talking to, sort of, I don't think they've actually seen me take accountability either publicly or really since I was about, I don't know, 18 or 19 or 20 years old. And this is going to be the first time that they're going to see it, I think. So here we go. It's not necessarily me saying I apologize or I'm sorry, because saying it, I think, is sort of like who you're trying to convince. So the video itself is sort of just that. Is my apologies is more of me saying, instead of saying I'm sorry or I apologize, I didn't mean to do that, I didn't intend it. All of that to say, I fucked up. There. I fucked up. Not condescendingly, not any of that. No, I fucked up. One of the main aspects of doing this or being online or being public is you have to know, regardless if you meant to or did or didn't, when you screw up, you have to say it. And that doesn't matter what the situation is. So I fucked up. The way I fucked up, regardless of what I said or what other people said or whatever, I fucked up by allowing my emotions to get the better of me on online or on whatnot. And there's no excuse, no deflection of responsibility or accountability. And the luxury of social media allowing you to be whoever you want and say whatever you want without consequence is one of the pinnacle things that I talk about. And this is me basically saying, hey, when you screw up, you gotta own up to it. So I fucked up because it got public. And when you're a family, regardless if you like them or not, and I'm not saying I don't, if you are a proponent of family, it's the only one you have, man. And you have to, and there's no other way to say it. I don't want to say you want to keep them around, but you gotta do something. And if that means that you have to take accountability for the stuff that you do, hell, even if it's the stuff that you don't do or are not responsible for, then do it. And here's mine, as in, I fucked up. And I'm going to keep saying it because it allows me to get all my emotions out. Now, I'm going to try really hard to not be emotional here, because Lord knows I try to keep that stuff, especially in public, under lock and key, but every once in a while it gets to me. And one of the pinnacle or main aspects of what I talk about, and maybe this is a new thing for me, when you, how do I want to say this? When you are taking accountability for stuff, regardless if it's something you physically did or something you said or didn't even mean to say, the intent of what you did or said doesn't matter. What really matters is what the outcome is. And the outcome of what came about on the post, which I deleted before I took screenshots, I don't have the receipts. And really, truly, I don't even care about what was said, because regardless if they meant to say it or whether I meant to say it, doesn't matter. What matters is the outcome. And the outcome is a family fracture that either I directly or indirectly caused. But since I'm saying I fucked up, I'm just going to take the accountability and responsibility that I caused it. So, or I am at least responsible in that is where it started. And I really mean that. So, here's my, because it started, didn't mean to be public, but since it became public, I'm doing this public. Oh, by the way, caveat, no one knows that I'm doing this. I just took it upon myself, and there's nobody. I'm walking on Fort Gordon. Nobody else is here. My hands are mostly free. I have no completely and utterly unfiltered, unedited. I'm trying to do this all in one take, and that's why I'm not making cuts or whatever, and I'm already 7 minutes in. All right. And so that's the first thing, is it doesn't matter what the intent is. When it gets out of control and you know it's out of control, you got to stop it. So this is me not letting this go on anymore. Now, one of the things that somebody had said, and I'm not going to point them out, I'm not going to screenshot it or send it, is, and one of the reasons I said that, hey, I don't think they've ever actually seen me publicly or in person take accountability, like really take it like on the chin, responsibility, accountability for the stuff that I've either done or said or whatever, is because outside of going home for like holidays and stuff that, you know, it's always the good times, there's never really any bad times, they don't really see that. All they see is the best part of you or the best foot that you're putting in front. They don't actually see the growth or the stuff that you've done. So this is sort of like me showing them, hey, I can do this just as much as you don't think I can. And here it is. Me doing this publicly to say, hey, I know other people are watching, and this is what, regardless of whether people think this is right or wrong of what I'm doing or whatnot, this is me saying, hey, I did something wrong, regardless if I intended to or not, or whether the intent was. Now, having said that, because based off of what somebody said, this is the only thing that I saw because somebody showed me, is that, and I'm going to address it. And I'm not here to poke fun. I'm not here to call anybody names. I'm not going to call people out by name. If when I say it, you know that you know who you are. Growing up, somebody had said, hey, you have a victim mentality. And they're right. That is correct. But that was about 15, 20 years ago, man. And it is true that I learned that somewhere. And it doesn't matter from who, it doesn't matter from where, but I learned it. What I want to say, though, is that in my daily career, which I lead United States Army soldiers, as that's what I do. I am a staff sergeant in the United States Army, waiting on my number to be called for promotion, hopefully in the next month or two, as number 56. They're on number 48 right now. Hopefully in the next couple months, my name will be called. But when you are leading some of America's best, and they're always watching you because they're on your Facebook or they're on your social media, or hell, they even watch you on a daily basis when you're on post or off post, but they're watching. You can't have, it's virtually impossible for you to have a victim mentality in this profession. It's just impossible to have, because if you do, you can't be a leader. It's impossible. So you are correct that I did have that, but in this line of work, you cannot have a victim mentality. It's impossible, because you're not allowed to always be like basically placing blame, deflecting responsibility and accountability. Now, are there people in this profession who do that? Yes. But on average, you're not going to make it to the senior ranks by always deflecting and skirting a responsibility and accountability. You just can't do it. And it shows up in your performance. It shows up in your work. It shows up when you're doing stuff. It's virtually impossible for you to have that type of mentality. It just can't happen, because you're always going to be blaming everybody else but you, and it doesn't get you anywhere. So I just wanted to address it because somebody said it, and it's impossible. Now, to the family, I hope that, and this is close to Thanksgiving, you probably never heard me say it, and I'm going to say it to you. What you don't know, because I actually talk about the majority of you in front of the troops with them, to show them how grateful and appreciative my family, or the family that I have, even if some of the stuff that we have gone through by mistake or by happenstance or common play or whatever, that I am grateful and appreciative for everything that you have done for me, good, great, bad, and ugly. Because once you have understood that even the bad or the ugly memories that we have, they're still memories, and you can always garner a lesson from that. Some might not agree, but what I am trying to do, and something that I have said on numerous occasions, is to be a better version of you, which is the pinnacle, or the point of life, is to be better than you were yesterday, and owning up to your stuff, your mistakes, your triumphs, your tribulations, or whatever, or what have you. Once you've done that, you're able to sort of basically understand, and I'm talking slow because I lost my train of thought. It's fine. I'll get there. I got lost, but I'll find my way back. That to be better than you were yesterday is to be able to stand in front of your trauma, in front of your sadness, whatever, depression or whatnot, and say, is that the best you got? And be able to process every emotion that you have. And in order for you to do that, you have to go through one by one. And this is how I do it. I go on walks, and you've been here for hopefully 15 minutes, but talking about my family has, as I said, I'm grateful and I'm appreciative for all the memories and all the that's the first thought I get. Is there somebody running? So I don't want to be I don't know who it is, whatever. Anyway, to be better than you were yesterday and to stand there and stand up to it, you have to be able to do it regardless of the person or the entity or whatever it is. Stand it and look it dead in the face and go, is that the best you got? And this is one of the ways to do that and process every emotion that you have. Now, having said all that, when you are in a situation like this, one of the things that I talk about a lot, and this is one of the things that got the better of me, and I'm still, even after 41, I'm 41 by the way, after 41 years of being alive, one of the things that I've learned, and not everybody's going to agree, your emotion, or rather your triggers, are your responsibility. I know most are not going to agree, but if you understand that the only thing you can control is you, then the best thing you can do for yourself is to be able to understand when you're about to have an emotional trigger, or emotional episode, or crash out, as the kids say these days. You have to be able to recognize it, stop all actions, and then behave accordingly. And I don't say act accordingly, because acting is not the true self. Behavior is the true self. Sometimes we do acts, or we act in a certain way for certain behaviors or certain rewards or whatever. And I try really, 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 really hard to not act. I just try to behave. And by behave, I mean really, truly put the true raw emotion and the true raw thoughts and not hide behind them like I used to. I hope that makes sense. And if it doesn't, hey, leave a comment below, because I'll answer. I'll make more of these, whatever. This is kind of fun, actually, getting all that stuff out there. Again, I'm not mad. I was, but I'm not mad now. It took me a week and a half to process everything. And the only person I really talked about this, but again, the only thing I told them told her was, I posted it. She said she saw it, and she read everything because she sees it. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but she saw it. She read. She told me everything that some of the people said, at least the most important ones, and I processed all the information and all the emotion, and really and truly, as I said, I'm not mad. I was. And once I was talking about the family, and I never got this actual thought or emotion out, and I hope you're still here. When I said I was hopeful, or not hopeful, that I was grateful and appreciative of everything about the family, because what you don't know is that trying to gather my words and my thoughts, because words have meaning, is I hope to make an impact on you as much or as equal to the impact that you have made on me. And I hope that this message comes across as such. If it doesn't, well, this is the best I got, man, because again, I'm trying to be appreciative and grateful, and this is, again, I hope that message comes across. I'm not trying to pull anybody over here. Also, one of the other things I talk about in trying to be an unofficial ambassador or a leader of people is so I said your triggers are your responsibility, and you should be held accountable for them. Your family is the only thing you have left, and it's really windy out here. What else did I say? When you screw up, especially I didn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, as a cisgendered heterosexual male, when you screw up, you own up to it, and you say it loud and clear, so everybody understands that when you fuck up, you say so. And you take all consequences, because that's all life is about, is, as Sir Isaac Newton has said, for every action, there is an equal opposite reaction. And if you've ever read in tandem Dr. Gabor Mate's work, and I've read them a lot, for all that resistance that you give, you're going to get the same amount of resistance back. Or, the amount of force that you apply, you're going to get the same or equal amount of resistance back. So if you really want to have a real mature adult conversation or discussion, you have to come with no ill will, none of the negative connotations or emotions with it. You might have them, but that's not the primary point, or that's not the primary action. And what was the post about, you ask, after 21 minutes of being here? Well, I said, and the reason I deleted the post, if anybody's ever asked, is I deleted it because the messaging wasn't correct, or I didn't think the messaging did what it was intended to do. I didn't delete it to save face or whatever. I deleted it because of what the messaging was. If words have meaning, then the nonverbal communication, which is over 90% of all human communication, is nonverbal. The messaging wasn't what I thought was correct after even saying it out loud. And I'm appreciative of, again, the family pointing this out, that what the post said was that there's no such thing as damaged goods. I'm not saying that that's right or wrong. It's just when pain and trauma are inevitable in a imperfect world, because that's, if you've read anything about Stephen Hawking's work, that nature as it is imperfect, then inevitably pain and trauma are inevitable. And that means that that's how we learn. Without it, or without risk, or without what you don't learn. And this is me doing that. And I'm not saying that I'm damaged goods, but I used to think this way. But what I'm trying to get at is, if pain and trauma are inevitable, and we're all going to experience it, the only way you're going to be able to survive it as someone who has survived it in 41 years of experience, and I'm not talking about my childhood, even though it's more traumatic than most people think it is, not because they don't know, or misspoke. Most of the stuff that I talk about, most people don't know, because I didn't talk about it. And most of it has nothing to do with family, although, and if they really want for me to explain it, I will, but I won't do it here, that just because you provide food, water, clothing, and shelter, immaterial of what that means or the emotion behind it, doesn't mean that you didn't experience pain or traumatic experiences. Just because you give that stuff, or because it's automatic. Like, yeah, I had that stuff, but that doesn't mean that I didn't experience what I experienced. The main point of the post was everything thereafter of all the experiences. And I'm not blaming anyone, because once you start finger pointing, you got about 4 or 5 other fingers pointing right back at you. But this is what I've experienced, in that I've experienced pain and trauma. And you can't tell me, if this is one thing, is you cannot tell me how to interpret my emotions or my pain, because they are what they are. Now, if you want to understand them, by all means, I will explain it to you. That's not the point of this, and I will. If people want to hear it, then I'll make another video like this where I'm walking. But after 25 minutes of this, or 24 minutes and 30 some odd seconds, if you're still here, and again, I'm not mad, I'm not frustrated. If anything, usually when I get emotional or triggered, or whatever the word is that the kids use these days, most of the time it's not at anybody in particular. It's more often I'm mad at myself for allowing me to lash out and show people what the raw emotion is. It's not to anyone else. And if I say I'm mad at them, what I really mean to say is, and this is another point about family and really any of your relationships, and I hope somebody can take this as a standard. Just because I'm mad at you or I'm frustrated or whatever doesn't change how I feel about you. And I really, really hope that we start doing that as families in society, where just because I'm mad at you doesn't change how I feel about you, and I will not withhold love from you. As in, it doesn't mean I won't talk to you. It doesn't mean I won't hug you. It doesn't mean I won't do any of those things. But what I mean to say is, and don't want to walk through a public place over here. I'm going to walk around. But yeah, how I feel about you. And this goes for all relationships, not just family, friends, coworkers, whatever. And this is just something personal to me. I don't expect everybody to be this way. And that's another point of emphasis, or one of that I talk about a lot, is I'm starting to not do the holding people to expectations, because we may have an expectation of everyone, like on a base level. Everyone should be treated, or I expect everyone to treat everyone with respect, dignity, and you get a baseline of that, as in respect is reciprocal. And in order for you to get it back, you have to sort of relinquish it. And in order for you to do that, you have to be able to stand there and allow people to either earn the trust or they don't. And if you don't allow people to do that, then you're going to get the same reaction that you give, the same reaction or the action back to you that you get. And in this instance, if you emotionally lash out with anger, sadness, whatever, you wholeheartedly should expect that type of action or reaction back. Especially if you're reacting emotionally, you're going to get the same thing. And that is the whole purpose of this, is to show, hey, I recognize that it was an emotional reaction. I'm not here to say it's dumb or stupid, but that I recognize as an adult, as someone who prides themselves on being the consummate professional, regardless if it's in my daily career or with my family or not. You just cannot allow yourself, and maybe this is an unrealistic expectation for myself, but you just cannot allow yourself in public to lash out ever. And again, we're not perfect. I've done it, but every time you do, you have to come out in public the same way and go, hey, I fucked up, I screwed it up, and I'm going to do better. And if you haven't seen the work, and I'm not just talking about family, if you've known me for 20 years or know me before Army and after, I implore you to really go back and think about the person I was, because I could tell you the type of person I was back then. It was dark, destructive, every bad adjective that you can describe a young 18 to 24 year old male in the late 90s, early 2000s, because that's when I was. Every bad adjective you can think of, that was this guy. I'm not that person anymore. I'm not here to tell you all the things that everybody wants to do on social media. If you've known me for that long, as in if you've known me when I was 18 to 24 and you know me now as 41, you've seen the change. Hell, man, I'm not even the same person I was 3 to 5 years ago. Like, new information and whatnot. But if you've known me for this long and you're here to say, well, you're still the same person, I'm telling you, after the experiences I've had, and I'm not here to say, source, trust me, bro. Nah, man, that's not the same person. I am not the same person I was. So, after 30 minutes of this, and I'm walking back to the spot that I was at, with no notes, no nothing, and this is, again, long and unfiltered. And the reason I didn't put this out, or rather the reason I didn't say to anyone that I was going to do this, no one knows that I'm making this vlog, video blog, whatever they call it, but I didn't tell anybody because I don't, if I told somebody, I would talk myself out of it, because it's like, nah, man, I shouldn't have to do this. And it's like, well, yeah, I do, because it got out of hand. And if you recognize it got out of hand, then you have to be the person who, if you hold, and one of the questions I tell young people to ask is, and this is not to say that you should take all the blame all the time, but rather ask the question, how did I contribute to this situation? Or how could I have behaved differently or give a different message or whatever? It's not that you're taking all the responsibility and you put it all on yourself, a heavy burden or whatever. It's more to say that, hey, I recognize that I contributed to the situation and I want us around, family, friends, whatever, to be better. And one of the ways to do that is to take the lead and start doing it, not act differently. No. If you really believe it and you truly say, and you say it out loud, that this is the person I am, then it's not acting anymore, or it's not acting at all. It's, this is who I am. I know I've been rambling, and this is the only way to get it unfiltered or all in one take, because if I did it in editing or whatever, people would be like, hey, you did this on AI, which I actually can't stand. I don't like the AI. I only use it as a tool. And fuck, man, I even asked one of my friends to do it more than me, who owns his own AI. So, yeah, I don't do that. And for the other stuff, like, hey, you have a script and all. Nah, man, if I had a script, I would have went over this a billion times. And I really wanted to do this for the family when I got promoted at the promotion ceremony, but a little earlier, to show them that, hey, look, man, I will love you till the day that I do not exist here anymore. And it doesn't matter what anybody does. If you say that you love your family, then no amount of what they do should change that. And if it does, then you have a lot of stuff to get through with them. And it starts with you. And you have to be the one. If bridges are destroyed, then it doesn't matter who builds them back up. As long as you are trying and you leave an avenue to you. I'm not saying this will work for everybody, but that it will help your emotional processing a lot better than where you started. And you can leave those negative emotions out. Again, I didn't want to put anybody's name out there. I didn't want to call anybody names. I wanted this to be a real, unfiltered, unedited, and I keep saying it. I know people are like, unfiltered, unedited, and unscripted, full-fledged. This is the real me. This is not acting. This is not like, he's just trying to do it. Nah, man, this is 100% me, man. So I hope it gives the message that I hope that it does. But again, if the intent is different, I'm sure that somebody in the comments, or man, my footage is all right. But I hope it does or sends the message, the correct message, or the right message for me, because what I did was not only unprofessional, but regardless of the intent of what people think, and I know more than just my family saw it, that is not something, or that is not the message that I want to send. And once you understand that, and this is why I'm putting this out there, it's one of the reasons I deleted the whole thing. And if people kept receipts, I'm not telling you to delete them, but that if you're going to be mad and you're going to be frustrated, the person who started it, as in the post, is there, and I'm the one that lashed out emotionally first, or at least that's how I saw it, because I allowed myself to do it. I could have just ignored it or not done anything, just let it be, but I couldn't get out of my own way, which is one of the big problems that I used to have and still do, but it's a lot more curated than it used to be. And if you don't think so, you haven't known me for a long time. So there it is. I did about 4 or 5 bullet points. I didn't do any editing, didn't put them in. And if people want to cut this up and say, hey, you don't really mean this, well, that's on you, bro, because I did the best I could here. So I hope that this reopens or builds the bridges back up better than they were before. And again, to send the right message that if you think I hate you, or you think that I don't like you, or whatever, there may be qualities about every one of you that we don't see eye to eye on, but that doesn't mean I don't love you, and it doesn't mean that I won't still continue to talk to you or send you messages on holidays or whatnot. But understand that this is me coming to you and saying, hey, you have some stuff that you have said publicly about me that I don't think are true, or rather, you may have not have seen it. So this is me addressing it. And I hope that it sends the right message. And for the others that are watching, I hope that you could take this and hopefully I make as much of an impact on you as you have had on me. And that's really it. I love every single one of my family members.